There we go. It should be recording now. Yeah, so work for the Cumbria Cyber Digital Crime Unit, and that's our organisation right there. So just some objectives is kind of what the kind of I'm looking to give out during this presentation. So the three things I'm going to cover, the three topics that I'll cover. Bear with me 1 second. Do some admin. So the three topics that I'll cover: online security, online safety, and cyber prevent. So the initial kind of marketing for this was to give advice around first-time use of new devices, as well as advice for parents and teachers around ongoing use of children's devices. So cybercrime is a little bit different to the online safety side. So cybercrime is more specifically looking at protecting people from being hacked mainly, and kind of keeping our data secure. So I'll go through some of that advice to start with, which you'll find that's applicable in your personal lives. You'll find it's applicable with children as well during their kind of onboarding, should we say, onto the internet. And you'll also find it useful for school as well. So we see a lot of schools being targeted by criminals, by attackers, to try and exfiltrate the schools, try and steal their information, or get a ransom for some money from schools as well, because they seem to be a weak target for these criminal gangs. So all this advice is applicable across all areas. So just to kind of reiterate kind of what we do, so what I'll be talking about, so protect and prevent is the middle two points there. We find that we'll never arrest our way out of cybercrime. We'll never arrest our way out of online grooming. So we find that the best way is to prevent it and protect people in the first place, and stop it from happening. So that's kind of the advice that I'll be going through today. And just to mention as well, I know I've said it to the cybercrime unit, but our kind of adjacent unit, and one we get quite involved with is quite a lot, is the online polit side. So this is when they deal with offenders who have downloaded indecent images of children or chatted to children in a sexual manner. So I do have a lot of experience from that side of things as well. So that's where we kind of get a lot of our information from. So just some difficulties with the pursue side. Like I said, we can't arrest our way out of cybercrime. As we know, the internet's huge, evolving technology, and there's constantly new technologies. For children, there's new ways of getting on the internet. There's new ways of accessing the internet for certain things. So, for example, now at schools, we do a lot of homework through the internet, which forces children to use the internet. You know, it's great. It's a great thing. But it does come with its issues. IoT, so Internet of Things, more devices that we're using are connecting to the internet. Cars, watches, fridges, you name it, that connect to the internet. That creates more ways that we can be susceptible to a cyber attack. And finally, volume. The internet's huge, as we know. There's millions and millions of people that use the internet. Billions of people use the internet, and it's the volume of crime. It can be outstanding, really. So I've just got some figures really on key statistics on online security and kind of what we're seeing in terms of what's being reported to us. So the first one there is in the year ending March 2024. So some recent studies or statistics. There was estimated to be about 1 million incidents of computer misuse, which is a 37% increase from the previous year. So we can see already there's been a massive increase. It's increasing, it's constantly increasing. It's a constant battle. And we looked at there some of the research kind of around some of what were the victims' point of view, and what did the victims feel like from falling for a fraud, falling for a scam, or falling for a computer misuse incident. And annoyance, one of the biggest things. We don't want these things to happen to us. So by making changes to what we do, we can avoid these things happening. Some victims as well experience anxiety, panic attacks, and difficulty sleeping. But I've purposely left out another statistic there. So it says 1 million incidents in 2024. It's quite a lot of incidents of computer misuse, because just in the UK. And and only 7% of computer misuse incidents are estimated to be reported. So it's really, really underreported. We don't see a lot of reports, and it would be really useful if more people could report if there is an incident to the correct law enforcement agency, so we could gain a bigger picture of kind of what's going on. And then the last stat there, so in the last 12 months, approximately 312,000 businesses and 27,000 registered UK charities were also victims of cybercrime. So again, huge amounts of cybercrime costing the economy billions. And that's why we're here basically. That's why we're doing this job, to give you advice on stopping this from happening. So the first thing I'll talk about, the first side of things is online security, and it's things you'll have probably heard of quite a lot. It's kind of constant. You might have heard it on the radio. You might have heard me speaking to you about it before if I've came into your school. You might have seen booklets, etc. Or you might have seen it when you're online. But passwords. So I think of online security similar to security of your house. So we think of, we want to lock our doors, we need to close our windows, we maybe leave a light on to deter someone from trying to come in the house. Well, them habits, they're ingrained into us, whereas some habits, like passwords, aren't ingrained into us. So it's really important that, if we're putting our children on devices, we're setting them up online with accounts, we ingrain that passwords should be strong from the start. So the advice on passwords are as follows. And the most important one, I think, is don't use the same password for different accounts. Once you use the same password on multiple accounts, that password is no longer secure, because once one website has a data breach and that password is gone, then suddenly all of your accounts become vulnerable to being attacked, because your password will be put on a password list and sold on the dark web. So make sure that you change your passwords and make sure they're different for each account, especially your email accounts. Don't use things that can easily be associated to you or found out about you. Social media, again, it's a great place to connect with people. However, people sometimes post a bit too much, and then they post about their life. They like to post about things. I like to brag a little, I think, but all that information again can be used against you. Especially, a lot of people will use things like the dog's names, any pets' names, parents' names, children's names, really popular, dates of births, and then things are all posted on social media. So it's really easy for a criminal to target you if you're for your password that way. I mentioned that one already, so use a strong separate password for your email account. Once they're in your email account, they're in everything else. Use 3 random words is the advice from the National Cybersecurity Centre. So 3 random words, create a really long, really unique password, and it can be really hard for a criminal to guess that password or crack that password as well. But then comes the problem of struggling to remember all your passwords. So there's something called a password manager. Apple have the now it's called the Passwords app. It used to be called the Keychain. There's Google Password Manager. There's Samsung Pass. Lots of different ways that you can store multiple passwords, multiple different passwords on one app with one master password that you need to remember. If it comes down to it, write them down, but keep them in a secure location all the time. And also I put on there, where available, use 2-step verification. So 2-step verification, 2-factor authentication. If you're setting up new devices, if you're setting up new accounts, make sure you activate 2-factor authentication. What it does, it associates a number to your account, and it means if someone has your password, they also need that one-time unique code that's going to be sent to your mobile number as well. You can activate that on most of your accounts online as well. Updates. This one's a nice, easy one. Install the latest software and app updates. Really important that we do it. Do it as soon as you can. It's a bit annoying. You might be on your computer in school and it needs updated but you're rushing to get your lesson plan, or you need to register. But it's really important that it is updated and it's done in a timely manner as well, because it does protect that device. Moving on. Backups, another thing important in schools as well as at home. So backing up our data. When setting up new devices, you might be putting sensitive information on that device. You might be putting files, photos, on especially on phones. You'll be putting a lot of sensitive information in online banking, etc. And if you're saving your passwords in a password manager, you want that data backed up in case something does happen to that device where you can no longer access them passwords. So you can back your data up in two ways. You can back it up physically with a hard drive, or you can back it up through the cloud, the magical cloud. So there's the iCloud, Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive. Lots of different ways you can back it up. iCloud's pretty good if you're an Apple user. You pay, I think, about around 99 pence a month for 50 gigabytes, I think, or maybe a bit more. Can't really remember. But again, even if I recommend it, even if you want to save your photos, something happens to your phone, it's damaged, it's stolen, then the backup's there, so you've got them photos or access them important documents. A lot of these things are reminders, really. I put them in. We know to do them, but we need to be reminded to do them as well. So I've got a video here. Hopefully this works. I did test it before and it worked. I'll play the video. Let me know if it works. You can hear it okay? Yeah, that's great. Thank you. So that video there just spared me just spared my voice a second. But yeah, talk about public Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi, it's public for a reason. It's not our own Wi-Fi. It tends not to be as secure. So if you are out and about connecting to different Wi-Fi networks, just be careful with what information that you're passing through that network, and try not to use public Wi-Fi. Again, it applies to new devices. If we're teaching our children about using devices, teach them about public Wi-Fi. We don't want to really be using public Wi-Fi. It's not secure. Antivirus, another quite another simple one really. Install antivirus. Setting up a new device. Windows devices do come with Windows Defender, so that's that middle little shield emblem in logo in the middle. Windows Defender is a pretty good antivirus. Windows have a lot of kind of safety precautions in there as well, so make sure while setting up a new device, you go through that Windows security and you look at the recommendations it's making and make them recommendations as well. Free free antiviruses tend not to be free. They'll tend to harvest your data or slow your computer down. Usually you have to pay for an antivirus. It mentioned in that video as well, if you're using a VPN, so virtual private network is a good way on public Wi-Fi. Again, if it's free, it's probably not very good, and it's usually pay for, and they're not too expensive either. They're just worth that little investment to make sure that you know you're going to be secure. Moving on, phishing, another big thing. 90% of all business hackings start with phishing. So whether you're a school, a charity, a large business, and you become a victim to a crime, are hacking, the main source is phishing, and the reason is because it's the people who are the weakest link in an organization. It's the people who click on the link. It's the people who make the mistake or let someone through the door, for example. It's the same thing with phishing. So phishing is a type of email scam where people send the emails. You'll have seen them before. Same with text messages and voice messages, where they're trying to get some information from you. So you might have had voice messages, not voice messages, sorry, text messages, which have, we've missed your, we didn't manage to deliver your parcel. Please click the link, follow the link to reschedule your delivery. It's about that right time, right place, and you'll click on that link and give your information over, or give access to your potentially your school network. So just be wary of any links that you're receiving, any emails that you're receiving, and just think for a second. Ask someone else. A lot of the time, the emails can look really genuine. You might not believe them, but make sure you ask someone else before you actually click on that link. So moving on, I'm going to move off now online security, and we're going to talk a bit about online safety. I'm going to start with this video about data. So a big thing with online safety is about how much information we share online. I mentioned this earlier, but I think this video here really kind of puts a good perspective on kind of what people could do with our information that we share online. Again, this messaging can be passed on to children as well, because it's really important. The same kind of concepts all fit into it. But I'll just play the video now. So that video there is called "A Message from Ella Without Consent." I think it's quite impactful. That so if you would like it, you can find it on YouTube. Just search on YouTube, "A Message from Ella Without Consent." I think it's useful if you are a teacher. You could show it to parents. it's kind of that thing of what information we post online, and not just looking at what information our children post online, what information we ourselves post online, that could potentially have an impact on someone else's life. So just something to think about, really. So I'll go through some statistics of kind of what we've got when it comes to online safety. So from 2019 to 2022, I know these statistics are a bit out of date, but self-generated child sexual abuse material rose by 471%. It's quite a large rise there. So just something kind of, we can see how it's grown, we can see how it's becoming a much more prevalent thing. Is this due to the access to devices? I don't know. What we do see as well is, I haven't got the statistic on here, but one of my colleagues was telling me that there was a statistic around when they've looked at child sex abuse material, and they've looked at the location or the background, around, I think it was around 30% were, or maybe it was slightly more, where we're in a bedroom or a bathroom. So it's just, again, something to think about. If a child's using the device in the bedroom at night, that's kind of that danger. So to eliminate that in the first place, we maybe take phones out of the bedrooms at night, or no phones in the bathroom. So it's them places where a child might have less clothes on, just to reduce that risk of that happening. So these are images created by a child for different reasons, including coercion. And additionally, the Internet Watch Foundation reported that 2/3 of these images came from 11 to 13-year-olds as well. So it's kind of that just primary school going to secondary school age as well. And 63% of parents believe time online negatively impacts their children's health, whereas 65% of children think spending time online makes them feel mostly happy. There's two sides of it, really, and it's a balance, I think. But it's kind of, it needs to be monitored, I think, a lot more by parents, kind of what the children are doing on the devices. So why are children using technology? Some of the things, you'll know these things. Peer pressure. All of the friends have access. They don't want to miss out. Keeping in touch. Everyone wants to be on there. You want to be on Instagram, Snapchat. Oh, I want to be in the WhatsApp group chat. I want to be on TikTok. I want to post TikTok videos, YouTube, etc. I want to see how many likes, followers you can get. So it's that status. People like to post on social media and like to make out their lives are a lot better than they maybe are. It gives you a platform to air your views and opinions on things you care about. Some children like that. Fun. Roblox, the biggest game, everyone will have heard of Roblox. It's the biggest game used by lots of children. So they like to play games on the internet. Blogs, entertaining, can become rich, famous. There's sometimes social media can be a bit toxic that way and give kind of people false images of what life is actually like. Easy way to communicate. So they like to communicate with their friends, especially in rural Cumbria, where we might not live as close to our friends as some other places. And it stops you ever being bored. So there's always something to look at, always something to escape into. I probably spend too much time on my devices, but it's something I enjoy. And it allows you to portray yourself in a way that's important to you as well. So that's the reason why. So there's kind of, we need to look at that and then kind of understand the reasoning, so we can understand how we can protect them in that way. So some of the top apps that we see are being used by children. I won't, if it was in person, I would have asked people to see if they can, how many of the apps they can name. But I'll just put them on screen and I'll just go through them out of these. So number one, we've got Fortnite, Minecraft, YouTube Kids, Facebook Messenger, TikTok, Pinterest, Roblox. House Party is number 8. House Party was discontinued in 2021, so that shouldn't really be on there. We've got Zoom, Instagram, Snapchat, and X, previously known as Twitter. So they're kind of some of the top ones. The age ratings for these vary, but mainly it's around 13. So TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, around 13. Roblox is 7 plus. Minecraft's also 7 and Fortnite's 12 plus. So just bear that in mind. These age restrictions are there for a reason. And it's the reason to keep children away from these sites that could potentially have adults on them or harmful content. So now moving on to the apps to be curious about. So some of these apps we see in our office of offenders using to maybe chat to children, or we've also seen reports of children using these apps to potentially be groomed online as well. So you might recognize some of these. In fact, you will, because there was one on the previous, there's a couple on the previous slide. So number one is Telegram. Telegram, massive. I saw it had in the news today. Actually, it's got 950 million users worldwide. A lot of people use Telegram. Teleguard, I think it's a similar voice call and service. WeChat, very popular in Eastern Asia, but again, it can be used for. We've seen it being used for online grooming. Number four, you might not have seen this one before. This is called Thunder. So this is a new Omegle or Omegle, which is a random chat app that randomly puts you on a call with someone else randomly in the world. Again, you can see the dangers with that. Discord, a popular one for gaming communities to chat on there. Monkey is a similar video, randomized video chat app. Roblox, number 7, is a big one. We don't necessarily see a lot of grooming on there, a lot of images being shared, because you can't share images on there. But I've definitely seen reports of definitely inappropriate things on that app. Rando Chat, again, similar random chat, it's in the name. Tor browser, now this one's slightly kind of a bit of an anomaly. This is not where people would chat necessarily, but this is where offenders download the images from, so the dark web. WhatsApp, Snapchat, and Kik as well, so the last 3. WhatsApp, again, huge app for the chatting. Snapchat, I think it has 750 million users, maybe more, maybe less, I'm not sure. Again, it really popular with the younger audience, and Kik as well. So we get most of our referrals in our unit from Snapchat. Snapchat and Kik are the 2 biggest ones where we have children who are being groomed by offenders through Snapchat. I will put as well at the bottom, I have got at the last slide, I've got some resources as well, so it will give some further information about different apps. But I will go into some kind of ways what you can do on the apps. So apps tend to have chatting functions, a way that a groomer can use them. Cyberbullying is a big thing we see as well. So we've had issues with some schools in Cumbria where they've had really big WhatsApp group chats where people have been dragged into it, bullied. Images have been shared in them, obviously indecent images of children as well. So a big issue with group chats, especially as children are moving into secondary school, it's becoming more prevalent. Inappropriate content. TikTok is a big one for this. We see a lot of that on TikTok. Privacy, location sharing, social networking, privacy and identity theft. So I've put the link there to internetmatters.org. That is my probably most recommended website to go to look at the parental controls. I can't really go through every single app and tell you the parental controls because it's a needle in a haystack. There's thousands and lots of different parental controls, and they constantly are changing. But that's the website. I've got it at the end as well. And then just to mention, I'll talk about online gaming as well and the issues with that. So setting up new consoles for children. There's lots of ways you can monitor them. I've got a slide on monitoring, so I'll just skip over that. But it can be controlled using Microsoft Family Management, similar to PS5 and other consoles. So they'll have the different versions of monitoring on them gaming consoles. Same with tablets. So a lot of children do have tablets, and they do a lot of mobile gaming on tablets. Mobile gaming is becoming increasingly popular with the younger generation, including playing what I put on here. Roblox, again, I put it on there because it's the biggest one that we see. So Roblox is the most popular game. And what it is if people don't know, it's a game with lots of games, other games inside it. So you can play, I don't know, you can play like a jailbreak role-playing server, or you can play like a Olympics game on it. There's all sorts of user-created games. If you play um, Roblox on a tablet or mobile device, there is a chat facility in the game. So by default, there's a text chat definitely. I'm not fully sure. I don't think there's a voice chat, but there's 100% a text chat in the game through mobile devices, and that is the most common way that we see children using Roblox as well. If you go through Xbox or PlayStation, um, there's no text chat in the game, so it limits that text chatting through the game, which is it's quite useful as well. Um, in terms of parental controls on Roblox, they've just updated them. So if you want to put parental controls on a child's account, you need to create your own Roblox account and add your child's account on as a child account, and then you can set up parental controls through that function as well. Again, this is on the Internet Matters website. So this section kind of talks about how can we manage our children's use of the internet. So the acronym I've used here is TEAM. You might have seen this before. I'll put all the slides on. So talk. I think it's great, having a conversation. What are they interested in? What are they playing? What games are they playing? What social networks they're using. I think the more information we can get from children, the better, so we can get a better understanding of what they're using and how we can put safeguard and protections in place. Explore the games yourself. Download Roblox. I've downloaded Roblox on my phone because if I didn't, I wouldn't have a clue how to use it or how it worked or what facilities you've got in. I've got my own account on there because I wouldn't know otherwise. It's the same with lots of different websites and lots of different games. I find some parents can be a bit push off with using that thing. Oh yeah, they just play the game. Oh, they're just on the game. They're just on the phone. Yeah, but what are they actually doing on the phone? Explore it, figure out what they're actually doing. Take that time out of your day, dedicate some time to that because it's really important. Agree a common ground, set some rules, some boundaries, and say why you do this. Put reason for it, and be a good role model as well. So you don't want to be having bad habits that they're going to pick up. And then manage as well. So there's lots of different ways you can manage. So privacy settings, filters, passwords, safe search, and using Internet Matters for settings, controls, and privacy settings. And then I'll kind of move on to monitoring. So there's a few different ways you can monitor. So through Apple devices on the right hand side, there's the Apple Family or Apple Screen Time, where you can add devices through there and you can monitor your child's devices through that system. The left logo is a logo for a app called Custodio. Now Custodio has a free version, but it also has a paid for version. I think it's around £35 for the year, and it tells you about Google searches. Google searches that have been made from your child's device. It tells you location information. Alerts can be set up, so when they Google a certain thing, it gives you an alert, or an alert can be made if they go to a certain location. You can be alerted as well, and it can have restrictions on downloads for new games and apps and etc. So it's quite a good app. Someone in my office actually uses it for their child, and she does rave about it. There's also Google Family Link, which is for Google devices. So that's that middle logo as well, which is useful if you're using Google devices or Google systems. So it's really good, and that's free as well. So lots of different kind of ways you can manage that. What I'll do is I've got some kind of slides on kind of Snapchat, so I'll quickly run through these ones, then we'll get through to Cyber Prevent, and then we can ask some questions as well if there's any. So Snapchat, popular messaging app. Again, this is probably one of the most popular messaging apps. You can receive pictures and videos. You can call users through Snapchat. It's available on iPhone, Android, and it's got lots of other features. So there's features like public stories where you can post public videos and pictures. You can post videos and pictures to location as well, so people can look on the map and look at the location. There's the Snap Maps, which is a feature where you can track your friends. You can see your friends' locations. You can have snaps that you can share, and it'll be seen instantly and deleted instantly. Or you can temporarily show snaps on your story for 24 hours as well. There's different filters on Snapchat. You can create group chats as well on Snapchat as well. I'll skip that. That is all in the Internet Matters website as well. So what kind of safety precautions we can put on Snapchat, so you can manage notifications, choose who can contact you, you can manage the chat settings, you can choose who can see your story, you can cancel your location sharing, you can block people, you can report content, you can use two-factor authentication, and there's a family center as well. All that can be found on the Internet Matters website, which again I'll have the link for at the end. TikTok, another popular one. So TikTok's mainly used for content. It's content driven, but there is video. So there's videos, there's images through there. The clips can be up to 60 seconds. They can be much longer now. And you can use a search engine to search for different videos. I think it's great for looking for recipes and things like that. But there's lots of different features on TikTok. There is messaging on TikTok, so you can direct message people. You can follow people. You can actually post stories now, so that'll be limited time, 24-hour stories that go on your profile. But lots of different things you can do, very similar to Snapchat in terms of the security features. And WhatsApp, we all know what WhatsApp is, I assume. Free of charge, messaging, calling, videoing, disappearing messaging, end-to-end encrypted, live location sharing. And if you can see, there's some stats there actually. I forgot on that slide. So it says about just at the bottom. Oh no, I've missed it. We'll go back to it. So it says the 32% of 8 to 11-year-olds are on WhatsApp, and 80% of 12 to 15-year-olds. So we can see there's a young audience as well there using it. So similar settings can be applied to WhatsApp. Right, now I'll move on to Cyber Prevent. Just restart this video, apologies. So this video should play. If you can just give me a thumbs up if this video plays. So this is all to do with Cyber Prevent and Cyber Choices. So that video there is a bit of a kind of introduction to Cyber Choices or Cyber Prevent. So if you haven't heard of Cyber Prevent, it is in the Keeping Children Safe in Education document. I believe this is teachers' very, very important document for schools. But it came in 2023 and it's under Cyber Choices. So it's about if there are concerns about a child who may be involved in cyber dependent crime, then there's the Cyber Choices network and referral mechanism where we can refer a child in and we can consider them to give them some advice and deter them away from being involved further in cybercrime. So what I mean by cyber-dependent crime is from one computer to another computer. So, for example, a child might um, be involved in some hacking at school. They may have, used a computer without permission, something kind of along them lines. It's mainly hacking that we're looking at, or stopped computer systems from working. It's that kind of thing. But it's a voluntary program that we do run nationally, and of course, my colleague Lee and myself, we run our cyber preventing in Cumbria as well. And it's to educate, not criminalise. So we try to kind of, it's similar to CT prevent, but it's more kind of a cyber aspect, and we're trying to educate these young individuals around the Computer Misuse Act. So make sure they understand the law, and that what they know is they're doing it could potentially be breaking the law. We also want to push them towards a direction of actually making some positive use out of their skills. So if they do have some skills around cyber, we can provide further online resources that they can go away and use, and hopefully send them on that positive direction towards a good career in cybersecurity rather than breaking the law. So we're not there to criminalise people. So if there is any concerns of any students or any children that may be susceptible to cyber dependent crime, so please do get in touch. I'll put my email at the end, so you can email us. You can email our inbox. You can also go to the Cyber Choices website if you want to read a bit more about it. But we will consider them. If you're not sure about it, still email in. We'll consider it by all means, and we can look into it further. So just for reporting and advice, so here's all my links and advice. So feel free to take a screenshot if you want. So here's the online security side. So if you are a victim of fraud or cybercrime, report it to Action Fraud. Is the national reporting mechanism. It is changing next year, but it's Action Fraud for now. For any advice around security, is the National Cybersecurity Centre website is the best place to go. And if you Google Cyber Choices, that's where you'll find the cyber prevent information. Now, for any advice around online safety, I would always recommend going to Internet Matters. You can also find lots of other good information on the NSPCC website and Internet Watch Foundation website as well. But that is everything from myself. And that's my contact details at the bottom. So the cyber@cumbria.police.uk. If you do have any questions, please ask them now. I will stop the recording as well. Just if you've got any questions, please ask them now. If not, feel free to send them to our inbox as well, and I can answer any questions through there as well.